Alrighty, gang. Welcome to Positive Business Action. I'm here with my man, Reuben, and we've got some special guests today. Guests who I have known since one of them was in middle school, I think. Jeff and Jordan Pierce are here from Stuckey Farms. But first, before we get going, let's say hi to John and the gang. Reuben, what have we been doing these last couple of weeks on the farm?
Getting ready for a podcast.
That's right. Look at the studio. It's 80% done. How great is that? But that has never stopped us from starting here. And we are waiting for things to melt. All of our gravel roads are ridiculously squishy. I don't know if that's the case in Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a mess.
Squishy, and that's why it's good time to catch farmers inside. And so we are going to get things kicked off here. Jeff, why don't you, as the patriarchal figure of our podcast today, why don't you get us started and just tell us about the farm, the family? You guys have a little different story than most people do.
Yeah. Thank you, Hugh and Reuben. Appreciate the opportunity to share some of our story with you guys. I did not grow up on a farm. I did not grow up on an orchard. Quite different. I was a sales and marketing representative, and we sold at the time commercial plumbing items. And I had done that for about 18 years. About 10 of those years, I had my own agency here in Indiana. And toward the end of that tenure, I was kind of burned out about trying to romance cast iron floor drains. It got to be a little tedious. So I was looking for something, and lo and behold, my wife and our two boys, my wife had discovered this pumpkin patch and orchard through our boys having visited there on some school field trips. And we were visiting in the fall of 2004, pulled into the farm with the boys to get pumpkins. And my wife casually mentioned to me that her friend had told her that Stuckey Farm was for sale. And I didn't know what to think. I thought, well, this is a weird business, first of all. And I was kind of looking and not ruling out any possibilities. And so my wife took the boys to the pumpkin patch, and I told her I would be out there shortly, and I was going to go see if I could find the owner to find out if it was truly for sale. I did find Mr. Stuckey, and indeed it was for sale. He, at that time, mentioned that he thought he had it sold, took my name and number, and said he would contact me if something happened. And a couple months later, got a phone call asking if I was still interested. And I said, well, I don't know what the deal is, but yeah. And so we started talking kind of in earnest over that winter, and in the springtime, don't know what was wrong with me, but I volunteered to help him prune the apple trees so I could get an idea what I was getting into, and realized that was the hardest work I had ever done in my entire life. But something intrigued me about it. In May of 2005, we ended up buying the farm and thought it would be a kind of a shift for our family. Our boys were still younger, and thought that it would be an opportunity for them to grow up on the farm and meeting the public and dealing with the public. And so it was a kind of a monumental family shift, if you will.
So that was 20 years ago. You pruned a bunch of apple trees and still wanted to do it.
That I know. I realized that if that was, and Mr. Stuckey told me at the time, he said, this is the hardest work you will do all year. And I thought, well, if I can make it through that, it's got to get easier. And that was kind of my mindset.
Did it get easier?
Physically, yes. Mentally, no.
Yes.
Just as any business, there were challenges that were kind of unforeseen, and we'll probably talk about that and how we crossed paths with Mr. Hugh as a result of some of those challenges. But yeah, it didn't get any easier, but it was a job that I enjoyed because I was not behind the wheel and spending a lot of windshield time driving from customer to customer, and I was ready to get out of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And what a great illusion. Did you catch that it was plumbing supplies?
Yeah,
Where's this going? Interesting.
Sometimes for
full circle.
Sometimes foreshadowing. That's right. That's right. So really, it almost seems that that plumbing is somehow genetic. Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. So yeah, so you start out with the apple orchard, but
yes.
and then we did cross paths at some point. I can't even remember the year, whenever that was. When did you realize that this was going to need to be more than picking apples off the tree, or was it already when you were visiting with the kids?
It it was primarily when we visited with the kids, it was still primarily a U-Pick apple orchard, and they offered wagon rides, and obviously they offered school tours, which was how we became acquainted with the farm, but it was primarily apple picking. And we also at that time, Mr. Stuckey did U-Pick vegetables. So
Right.
it was all focused around the whole concept of U-Pick, and that was about probably 80%, maybe 85% of the revenue came from the U-Pick apples and U-Pick vegetables.
Right. And Jordan, when you were just a young man and Ma and Paul decided they're going to buy this here farm and move out to the farm, and he was previously salesman of the year for iron pipe fittings. What in the world were you thinking when you were what, 13,
Yeah.
14?
Yeah, I was 13. My brother was, I think, 11. And we had always, like, it was kind of, for us, it was kind of like mom and dad had bought Disney World. Um, and we couldn't believe, because I think they told us, they were like, hey, we're talking to the Stuckies. We're thinking about buying the farm. And my brother and I were like, there's no way. and and they actually they preemptively told us, they're like, hey, it might not work out, but we'll talk about it later. And then I forget, I think they were picking us up from school or something. They're like, hey, we're gonna go to the farm because we bought the farm. And we were like, no way, that's so cool. And then we found out that it was not as cool as we thought, because I felt like the little girl from Holes, that movie where she's like, "My fingers hurt, Grandpa," or whatever. He's like, "Keep digging," and so
Too
that was me and my brother pruning apple trees. Luckily, we didn't have to do the full season, but when we were young, we were out there pruning apple trees with with old dad, and he would get us Subway sandwiches as a treat for being out with him and and pruning apple trees.
it's always the little treats, right? It's all just
Mhm.
anything to keep them going, right, Jeff? What a
Yeah,
bunch of
absolutely.
suckers, right? The $5 foot long, and two teenage boys are fine.
Yes, absolutely.
That's pretty fun. But then Jordan, you went away, right? You went away to college to do big and important smart stuff. What uh what was it like leaving? Did you have to come back? And what did you want to go? What did you think you wanted to go do?
Yeah, I think I would still work in the summertime and some of the fall, but I went to school for mechanical engineering technology at IUPUI, and my goal was to become the next Iron Man and live the Tony Stark life. And then did I did 3 internships with some companies, and the last company I did was going to be, basically, they were going to hire me afterwards, and all I did was sit at a computer and count bolts on big machines. And that was not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. The guy that was my manager had pretty much turned all gray at the ripe old age of, I think, 35, and started smoking. So I was like, nah, that's probably not the best line of work to go into. I decided to come back to the farm full time after that last internship, and haven't looked back since, because the farming gives me that outlet, or that pretty much that outlet where I can, every day is a little bit different. So it keeps my mind active, and every day is a new challenge.
Yeah, a little more stimulating than counting bolts, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, plenty of that, and it was mind numbing, and I would always look forward to some days we'd be able to go onto the plant floor and just like walk around, and instead of sitting at a desk all day. So that was like always the days that I would look forward to in the week, and that was just it was mind numbing work.
That's fun. But of course, as we all know, stuff breaks all the time at the farm. So I'm sure you still get a little bit of engineering. Jeff, what was it like having a full qualified engineer roll back? I'm sure the transition was completely smooth and you both always agreed on every decision.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Animal Racers. Ready to add a big thrill to your park? Find out how at animalracers.com. And now, back to the show.
So yeah, when Jordan came back, it was probably easy to get integrated. Everybody had clear job descriptions written out, and there were never any arguments. Is that how it went, Jeff?
Maybe. No, I think any father, I guess maybe the dream would be to um, have a business or work in a business where your children could possibly come alongside and work with you or help in some fashion. And the boys, as they grew up, they had worked out at the farm, and it was a little different. Jordan as an adult and um, having a lot of experience at the farm before he came on board full time, there are certainly some unforeseen challenges, and probably the role that I like least is being um, his quote unquote boss at the farm. I don't really like that. He gets to see me during the day at my worst moments in business, and not every child gets to see their parent, with the stresses of whatever may be happening at the job. They don't see that all the time. And, when mom and dad come home, it's all good. You leave that kind of at the doorstep. So that challenge I don't particularly like, but I also, uh, that weighs in the balance of being able to have him there kind of with me and working around me every day. And that, for a parent, I don't know that it gets much better than that. My other son chose not to be in the business, and he is, obviously don't see him as much. So both relationships and proximity and distance have their own challenges, but having Jordan there as an engineer has been invaluable. He has created some great time saving things that me, I'm used to just doing things a certain way, and oh yeah, that may take twice as long, but I'm just used to doing it that way, so I don't see any reason to change. And Jordan looks at it from a different perspective, and I used to fill the spray tanks for the orchard sprayer. We have an air blast sprayer with a garden hose, and I'd sit there and do things while the tank was filling, not realizing that, I'm basically just twiddling my thumbs while the sprayer's being filled up. And he said, well, why don't we take these 250-gallon totes, elevate them, fill them up, and have that on an automatic refill. And then when you pull up, it takes, less than 15 minutes and the sprayer is completely filled with water. You're on your way. Things like that. And created an in-row weed sprayer because a lot of the products and things that we grow are kind of specialty items, and you can't just blast down through the field with Roundup and kill everything in sight because you'll kill what you're trying to grow. So he's been able to come up with some kind of innovative things that there's no way I would have ever figured those things out. And for him, it's, I think he enjoys doing that. And we've been the beneficiaries of that. So the engineering aspect of it and his familiarity with the farm has really been invaluable.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of right in between you guys. I would love to have a son come back, and I spend every day with my dad. And now that he's 83, still out there working, I'm like, what an absolute gift, you know. I heard one person say, if you live far away from your parents and they start getting older, you get down to where there's a countable number of times you're going to see them. And like there's a countable number of times I'm going to see dad today,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
I feel like I'm kind of right in the middle there, just enjoying that dad time. Now that I can enjoy it a little more since I'm now older than the young kid who came back.
yeah,
But yeah, looking for, if Jordan ever needs adopted, I would that you want to adopt an engineer, right? I feel like
yeah,
that's probably the most useful. But
absolutely.
but Jordan, you had to figure out what you were going to do when you came back, right? And just doing the same thing your old man does, I can tell you that didn't work out for me, right? So how did you find your own way when you were there?
I feel like I'm still trying to find my own way there. I think I'm in between a high level manager and an owner, somewhere in that weird zone that expectations pull you each different way. But yeah, I think finding my own way at the farm. I think the funny thing with all those innovations is I did it the hard way the first time, and then I'm kind of lazy. So I'm lazy and stubborn at the same time. So I'm like, how in the world can I figure out how to do this faster so I don't have to work as hard? Um, so yeah, now we've
This
gone
sounds
from
smart, Ruben. That just
Honestly.
sounds smart.
yeah, we've gone from push mowing the sunflower field to now I have a little riding mower that has a spray apparatus on it that I can just sit and watch movies while I spray in between the rows of sunflowers.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Listen to podcasts. That's right.
Yeah,
What a
There-
great
exactly.
I love this guy. Shoot. That is fun. Well, now we got to talk about the big sexy Jordan innovation.
The throne room.
The throne room. What what brought this about other than your genetic predisposition to plumbing?
Well, yeah, I don't know that it was born of that, but it was born of our mutual distaste for portalets. And it in our industry, that has become kind of a necessary evil. And I think it's a result of many of our businesses are so seasonal, it's hard to justify the capital expense of building the kind of restrooms that you would need to handle the crowds that we have for 14 weekends a year, whatever that might be. And in addition to that, dealing with your local county authorities that don't want you to expand your septic fields because they're destroying the environment and all this stuff. So I just had kind of had enough and tasked the guys, Jordan and our the work crew that we have, to let's look for some things that maybe we can do. I knew we were not going to be able to build any brick and mortar bathrooms.
Mhm.
county health officials, I don't know if they don't like us, but whatever, they weren't going to allow us to add to the septic field. So we found, I don't know if the idea or the opportunity came first, but we knew of a semi trailer that was for sale, and it was only a few miles from the farm, and came up with the idea, what if we bought this semi trailer and gutted it and turned it into our bathrooms? And if so, could we make the bathrooms like these deluxe bathrooms that you see at wedding sites, remote wedding sites, or other kind of fancy events? And so we bought the trailer, brought it over to the farm, got the foundation fixed for it, and the guys just started stripping it out, gutted the
And
whole thing.
was there a porta potty breaking moment? That's what I want to know. Like took a hoe and dug out some lady's cell phone.
Mm.
They've been so full that we take a stick and push them off to the side. I mean, what was the porta potty breaking point here, boys?
No, but if I could borrow that story of digging a cell phone out, I'll certainly take it as my own. I don't think we ever had a specific moment other than we were I was looking for ways to differentiate ourselves from other farms and kind of upgrade the experience, because the farm is located between some pretty affluent bedroom communities. And I know that the people that are visiting the farm are they're not enthusiastic about using the porta potties. So
Well to do. I'm
yeah,
sure you've seen people in fancy heels out picking
yes.
those apples.
So we
Well,
just yeah, go ahead, Jordan. Yeah.
the other thing is he didn't give you like the nitty gritty of what happened before we found the trailer. It was you cannot basically porta potties is like any kind of decorating you do around a porta potty is putting lipstick on a pig. It is they are always gonna look like porta potties, no matter how much decorating or corn stalks or hay bales or decor you put around them, it's always gonna be putting lipstick on a pig. And my dad, he he basically this is a lot of the ideas, and some of them are some of the ideas I come up with and I tell the guys you need to figure out how to do it. He came to us and was like, "Hey, I hate porter potties. Figure something else out." And so we that trailer was just on the side of the road for $3,500, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, we should go check that out. I think it would be a good a good option for this bathroom that we need to build." And then basically we just figured it out and built it like we would any kind of bathroom. So it was pretty interesting. That first trailer build was definitely a learning experience.
But you hadn't retrofitted any trailers. What?
No, we
You're
we
not
my
qualified.
Well, my mom and I, we used to flip houses before, so I have some construction backing. Plus, honestly, my theory is just run it stuff head first and then figure it out as you're doing it. So, I always say yes, and then we get it done, and we just have really qualified guys that help me get it done.
So then what happened? I want to know the guest reaction when you debut these things. Did you tell anyone? Did you sneak it up on the guests? Were you concerned?
I don't
But
think we
was there
did
a
any
big
kind
rollout?
of we didn't do any kind of advertisement or whatever. I think they just showed up. It is the weirdest thing having a guest come and then coming out of the toilet. Like sometimes I'm just kind of moseying around that area because that's where a snack barn is.
He hangs
They
out
will
at the
come
toilet.
out.
You hear that?
Yeah.
He just is always hanging out at the what?
I want to hear how great they are, so it just boosts my self-esteem. But like
Nice.
people will come out and be like, "That was the nicest bathroom I've ever seen," or like that I've ever been at on a farm. Like, who goes to a farm thinking they're going to have a nice bathroom experience when stereotypically it is porta potty central. So they were delighted and surprised when they come to the farm because they do not have to. They get air conditioning. That's the other thing I think makes a big difference is you're not in a sweaty porta potty anymore.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we have a vent at ours, and then Reuben stands outside. He just goes like this, and
Use a
people.
vacuum for the return.
That's right. People really like the shop vac for the for the return. Dang it! Now we got to upgrade stuff, Reuben. We got air conditioning. Man, they get it
Yeah.
all. They get it all in Indiana. Oh my goodness.
So what did the guests say? What was your like, wow, we're doing something different moment when you guys started debuting these things?
Well, I mean, it's certainly difficult to put a kind of a revenue number on something like that. It's just added value is the way that we look at it. And I happen to also be the MC for the pig races, and I'm not above doing a shameless plug or two when I'm introducing the pig races. And I just flat out ask people, and it's so funny because people don't really know how to respond, and then they realize that, yeah, they've been in the bathroom. I just ask the group, how many people have been in our deluxe bathroom trailer? And sheepishly, some hands will go up, and I'll say, and what did you think? And I get sometimes I get applause, sometimes I get numerous thumbs ups, but it's all positive. And so when you're looking to add value, sometimes the value can't be measured in dollars, like raising the price of something. We're trying to raise the experience, and that's like, you're putting together a building a brick at a time, and that the deluxe bathroom trailer becomes one of those bricks, and it's all been very positive. And the other nice thing is that they're real flush toilets, and there's running water, and they're not like an RV toilet where you have to step on something to pump it out or whatever. So people
They're not
are
hand pull. They're not.
yeah. So people
He
are
said,
really, yeah, they are surprised for sure, and happy about it to boot. So yeah.
Yeah, so you said a lot of this kind of stemmed from, well, we can't build something different. We can't build that regular building and septic system. Now, what advice would you give like other farms that are dealing with a similar issue? Maybe not necessarily the porta potties, but they're hitting a wall. What made you guys kind of just say, well, regardless of this, we're still going to try and figure something else out? What advice would you give them?
Well, don't give up on an idea just because it's not enthusiastically supported. You sometimes you just have to know in your gut that this will work, and maybe it takes the third, fifth, or 10th solution to really put it all together, but you just you can't give up, at first blush because the first attempt didn't work out. I mean, there's nothing magical about that. It's, success comes while you're working on something else. So it's one of those things that I knew porta potties were the bane of our industry. And so if this wasn't going to work out, we would have found something else. I don't know what that would have been, but we would have found another way to get around the use of porta potties.
Yeah, really. So it's that tenacity, I guess, that kind of just we're gonna do something different regardless. And this
yeah,
just happened to be what stuck, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you just kind of push forward, and a lot of banging your head on the wall, but you just keep
Yep.
pushing.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd
mean, in a
say
certain way, your bathrooms are like landscaping, right? Nobody will ever be like, "Wow, thanks for putting in that retaining wall."
Yeah,
But nobody's gonna say that.
no,
But if your landscaping is terrible, they will get a feeling about that place, right?
yes, Yep.
And
Absolutely.
my question would be, though it is wonderful to have air conditioned luxury bathrooms. One of our when we were looking at doing ours, we did them in a shipping container. We were very concerned that all of a sudden we were going to have to take over cleaning them. So, I mean, how did you guys manage that takeover? Now you've got this big, beautiful thing, but you got to keep it. You got to keep it beautiful now. What's the process and system that makes sure you're delivering on this new beautiful thing and it's not just full of used toilet paper?
Jordan, I'll let you handle that.
Yeah, the
Oh,
cleaning
you let
weirdly.
Jordan clean them. You let him
Yeah,
handle
oh
that.
yeah,
That was
I'm the one
he
that
just in
gets
there scrubbing. He's
saddled
got a
with
nice
the
uniform with an apron.
Yeah, no, I hate human feces. That is like my bane of my existence is I will not touch human feces. I will call a licensed plumber before I have to touch anything. I don't even like cutting the plumbing because it already had poop in it, and I don't like messing with that. I'll like glove up and put like a Tyvek suit on, but yeah, it's actually weirdly, they will stay pretty clean. I don't know if it's something about the bathrooms already being nice that people don't want to wreck them. The only exception is the freaking school tours. Those kids will wad up wet wads of toilet paper and stick them all over the walls if you do not basically you're not in there monitoring their shenanigans. So those are the only ones that will wreck. I mean, they'll honestly wreck any bathroom, but they're the ones that dirty up the bathrooms if they're unsupervised. But other than that, it's basically just a light sweeping. I mean, we use a luxury vinyl plank, which is a pretty durable plastic, so it's really easy to sweep up. There's no like, and honestly, if anything gets stuck to it, it's easy to wipe it off. So there's nothing really cleanliness wise. And the fact that we use real toilets, we're not really dealing with big clogs or anything like that because we also have little trash cans for all the women products and stuff that normally get flushed down and clog a toilet. But yeah, it's pretty easy to maintain. The We do pump them into fertilizer tanks, and then a septic company comes and pumps that out every weekend. But other than that, it's
Right. So
pretty easy.
you got your system, right? You've got materials, right? Choice of materials matters. The fact that they look nice makes people want to keep them looking nice.
Hmm.
You use standard fittings instead of something smaller or tight like that RV kind of thing. So you're not dealing with some kind of low volume
Right.
type of problem along the way, but you still I guess they come with the checklist. You have the checklist for people, the system by which people should be cleaning these. Because we should say, in all fairness and full transparency, you guys sell these for other farms. Now, when did that switch turn on? Because that's a lot different than like Ruben's talking about solving your own problems. One thing,
Right.
right? But when did this turn on, or did people come after you once they knew you were doing it? What was the impetus to make these as if you had nothing else to do?
Hmm.
Well, I think it started with the winter tour from NAFMA. They all came out, and it was a couple. I forget which two? There was well, actually, there was a couple farms that were like, "Oh, these are super nice. We want to." And they saw the outside, and they're like, "Hey, can you open these up?" And we're like, "All right, fine," because they were already locked up and winterized for the season. So we opened it up, and then when they got out, they're like, "Jordan, these are really, really nice." There's like, "Why aren't you selling these to people? Like, we'll be the first ones to buy it." And I was like, "Nah." I don't really want to get into bathroom trailers. I think I already
Well,
have
it's a sexy
the
business,
hatred.
dude.
Yeah, there's nothing sexy about a bathroom trailer. But
Well, you made them sexy. Let's be honest.
we
They look
we
I mean,
have
maybe
made
that's the
have made
business
bathroom
pivot
trailers
we're looking
sexy. I
for
think
here.
we are our standards are above kind of what your standard bathroom trailer is. Our ceiling heights are a lot taller, so it makes the room feel better, or bigger, and using the real toilets, which are not normal for bathroom trailers. But yeah, I think after I ended up calling a bunch of different manufacturers of I was gonna see if I could get bathroom trailers, like just pre-manufactured. All the ones that I saw were kind of trash. Didn't really like the look of them. And so we found a manufacturer that would just build us the shell and then we build out the inside. It I quoted it out and sent some quotes to some people and they were like, "Yep, sign us up. Where do we pay?" And so we built 2 last year and now this year we've got 14 on order.
Holy moly. That's
Yeah.
well, you know what it's big business. I won't say the first part of it. But are you going to be the number 1 or number 2 supplier?
Oh,
Oh,
We're editing this.
this
the rim shot.
this part this part that's right. Were you aiming to make this a business? Or did it start as a trickle and now it's
Nice.
This is it. Why don't we start with the bathrooms? This is too much fun. This is too much fun. But building one, so I'm very curious about this because I love systems and this kind of stuff. Building one is one thing. Building two, okay, you can have that as a hobby. If you got to build 14 of these, I want to know what changed in your procedural thinking about the build, about these like how did you this takes some scale up. So I'm kind of curious what business lessons you guys have learned along the way for trying to do. I mean, you're doing this professionally now,
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think
at least semi-pro.
yeah, the biggest challenge that we're facing right now is um, um, resisting or keeping from overcommitting because like you said, building two, yeah, that's we can handle that. 14 is a real scale up, and to Jordan's credit, his engineering and ability to navigate CAD drawings and be able to kind of foresee some of the design problems that we may run into have again they're invaluable. We would not there's no chance that we would have scaled up like we have without his level of expertise. So I'll let him explain kind of what we're doing and how we've been able to kind of scale up and how that's working.
Yeah, what's different for at 14 than 2, Jordan?
Well, everything is different. So even between the first one and the second one, they were completely different designs. One had no sinks in it. The second one had 2 sinks in it, which changes the entire layout of the trailer. I had to like basically I'm 3D modeling these and coming up with how everything fits and then building out a list of materials that we need because the big thing that we have found is the bulk ordering of materials has saved us considerably on our basically just the cost of these trailers and then ordering them from straight from a manufacturer has also helped quite a bit. But the funny thing is, the first 6 this year are a completely different design than the last 2 that we did. So I had to basically erase everything that we had done before and just start from scratch and rebuild those. And then, I mean, that's the thing is that we're building them completely custom. So we have to be really flexible with where things go and figuring out how to make them work because these are trailers and they are 8 feet wide. And these ones that we're building right now are 36 feet long. And that's all you've got. And you've got to jam as many stalls in there as you can so that it's actually worth doing. And you also have to make it nice enough that people don't feel like they're just in a small corridor and they have to somehow squeeze into a bathroom.
Right. And how did you get I mean, you can't be doing this yourself. So how did you get the crew on board? And then how do you scale up a build crew? How do you do it?
So the build crew is me and 2 other guys. And that has not changed from the first two that we built. Um, we did we during kind of the in between time, it takes I think it takes about 10 weeks for the raw trailers to get to us. So in that 10-week time, we were pre-manufacturing all the stall dividers and getting all those built ahead of time. So we weren't literally watching paint dry as we were for the first two. And because the first two we were basically making them on, like, as the trailer was getting built, we were building different pieces and painting them and putting them in. With the first 6 this year, we've done all of the dividers already for all 6 of them, and, we're ready to go for those to be basically delivered to us. We've already got 2 right now in the shop. One is probably about 75% done, the other one's about 50% done. And those were
Right.
just 2 guys working, because I went and took a vacation for 2 weeks in Florida and, came back, and I was like, "Why do I even need to work on these? These guys can just get it done, and I can just sit back and go to Florida."
You gotta trust your people, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. If the system and the plan is good enough, you can trust your people.
Yeah, and those are guys that we've had at the farm. Adam, who is, he was one of our high school workers. He decided he didn't wanna go to college, and we offered him a full-time job at the farm first. And then we've got Brian, who is a retired city manager, basically.
Right.
He would do a lot of the maintenance for the city of Westfield, which is where we're at. And between those 2 guys, they're super particular about quality, and I love it about them. They hate me because I will start a new job before they're finished with the next one, and they're definitely finishers, and I am a starter. So they hate that I will start something new while they're still trying to finish something else up.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, that might happen around here too, Jordan.
Yeah.
You guys have the throne rooms that you're making, but you still have the farm. Has that caused any friction? Do you feel like things are divided between, like, your attention's divided? How does that work? Or is Jeff handling mostly the agritourism side and you guys are just concentrated on the throne room? How do you divide that?
Well, it's that'll really come to a full test this year because building the 2 bathrooms didn't really impinge on anything else that we were doing at the farm. Getting these 14 done it'll put some stress on keeping the other things going. Fortunately, we have a couple of H2A workers coming in May that will help with the farm side of it while the trailer builds are still going on. So that will take some of the pressure off of it. But uh, that would be a great question for the end of this season. I'll be able to give you a better answer. But
That's right.
we'll find a way to make it work. And sometimes that just means longer hours, which we've done all that before. So nothing new.
And I think the other thing is that with this new business, it's hard to know when do you put the octane into it. And, like, right now we're borrowing the farm, like, we're leasing land from the farm. So that is the other thing that I want to touch on is the normally we're paying our guys during the wintertime to kind of just puddle around and fix some things here and fix some things there. We have hired them full time for Agritourism Solutions, which is the trailer business. And that's offsetting a little bit of those expenses in the wintertime for the farm.
Mhm.
So that's helping out a little bit, but it's also, I don't know how much pruning we're going to get done this year. So that's the kind of trade-off. But going back to the when do you put octane into this thing, if we built an actual workshop for these trailers, we could probably do 4 times the amount that we're doing right now. It's that hard point of, like, are we going to sell 14 every year? Are we gonna sell 40 every year? Or are we gonna sell 3 every year? And when do you invest in that infrastructure is something that we're still going back and forth of when do we pull the trigger and actually get super, super serious about this.
Yeah, I
Right.
feel like a lot of farms deal with that same situation of when do we pull the trigger and kind of move forward on a new project because you don't know what's going to happen the next year. So
Right.
that's pretty interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
and you're balancing the same problem most farms have, which is what do we do with the people we really need in the season over the winter, right? And so
Absolutely.
it can be right now a creative solution, and you're in Whitewater, right? I mean, these guys are giggling because we're doing a podcast so that they can they can be around when I need them and the weather breaks, right? So
Yeah.
we're certainly doing that part too, and not just to spin your wheels, right? You want to make sure
Yeah.
that that business is being you're double counting your assets, your existing assets, right? Using your farm shop to do it. Would it be easier somewhere else? Sure. Is it safer where it is right now? Yep, probably is.
Yep.
Probably
Yep.
is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if people are gonna use up bathrooms. They might keep needing them.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So what is getting motivated though? So that lots of great information on plumbing. They what do they say when it's plumbing? Payday's Friday. The water runs downhill and don't bite your fingernails. I think that's what
Yeah.
they say about about plumbing. But what's getting you excited about on the farm this year as we're rounding her up here? What's new or what's being exciting? Sometimes exciting isn't even the new stuff.
Right.
I think the coolest thing we're hopefully gonna be able to build is a low ropes course, but we're putting a little spin on it. We are going to do grain bins and make it look like a castle. So there'll be 4 grain bins on each corner, and we're gonna integrate the grain bins into the low ropes course and make it basically a 2-story low ropes course. Because I think a lot of the farms that I've seen, the capacity of those low ropes courses are insane, and you could basically man that whole thing with one employee, and some people or don't have a single employee watching it. But I think we're really looking towards activities that do not require an employee to basically man them, but are high entertainment, low employee involvement.
Yeah. Boy, it's amazing did you say hen house hustle?
Yeah.
Is that what you had mentioned there? Interesting, because I does that require staff?
I don't think so.
I don't think that it does. That's
There
good.
you go.
Oh man, we're plugging trailers, we're laying eggs. That's very subtle. That's what we're known for. Very, very subtle. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is amazing, right? The difference between you could have a complete anarchy or one attendant can effectively control 50, 60, or 70 kids, right? It's just that one person. And I don't think AI is going to take that job until we have Terminator robots because it really just takes one person, right? We like to put whistles on them. I don't know if you guys do the whistles.
Mm.
You know, every kid's trained to respond to a whistle. But one
I like
attendant and a
that.
whistle, boy, you can control a lot.
Yeah. I like that. We do not. I think we will be getting whistles.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. They don't have to be expensive either, because
No.
yes, or cattle prods,
That works.
also effective. That's right. You could just put a live wire everywhere and an emergency button for your attendant. Right. Right. We're gonna calm this down. I'm hitting the button. No, no, no. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. You know, right? Well, that's right. It's light up the night at Stuckey Farms.
Yeah, absolutely.
This episode is sponsored by the Hen House Hustle, and trust me, it's exactly what your guests are looking for. Fun, memorable, and built to keep people coming back. Learn more at thehenhousehustle.com. And now back to the show.
That is fun. So Jordan, you have little kids. You think you got a little farmer? Do you want that little farmer? Or are you gonna train him to code up AI robots? It's gonna be your job soon. You think your dad had a hard time?
Well, I've got 2 kids now. So we always joke on the videos that his name is Farmer Warren what do we call him? Wannabe Farmer Warren or something, I think. Um, I would love for him to come onto the farm. I don't think I'll ever. I mean, my parents never pushed us that we had to come to the farm. It was always, if you guys are interested, then we would love it. If you're not, we're not gonna say you're disowned from the family if you don't come work at the farm. So I'll definitely give him that option. Loves tractors, he loves any kind of heavy duty equipment. I'm sure he would love if we would do that whole dinosaur package that a lot of farms
Mm.
are doing. We just went to Dinosaur Land in Orlando. So
Yes.
he lost his mind there. So I'm sure I'd be probably number one dad if we spent the 100 grand to get the dinosaurs at the farm.
That's right. So you'll do anything to buy your children's love.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Yep. Yeah. And I'll write it off as a business expense.
Boom! Let's
Nice.
go. Little accounting help there
Yep.
from the Pierce family. That is that's great. So here's more of a philosophical question. Easy for me to say. Um, I'm always trying to figure out how and why people make decisions instead of just the generic answers. I'm wondering if you have any deep insight on why do people come to our farms, your farm, my farm at all? That's not a stupid answer. Like they just want to spend time with the children. Because most people are trying to get away from their children. So why do you think people do? Why do they make these choices when we know they have unlimited entertainment options?
One thing I think it still rings true is that most families are, boy, at least maybe 3 to 4 generations away from farming. If they trace their lineage back far enough, somebody was probably a farmer, and now, we're I mentioned that our our farm is located within we're surrounded by some really nice bedroom communities, and I think these people, whatever their whatever they think about farming, they really don't have access to visit a what we are real farms, but I mean in our area, row crop farm. They just don't have access to that anymore. They can't go look at the equipment. They can't walk on the ground. So we, I think, still provide that for people. And then along with that, at least in our case, we provide some healthy options. They can, instead of taking an apple from the store that, may or may not have full flavor, they can go pick one off the tree and experience what that is. And, some people have never done that, as amazing as that is. But I think it's still the desire to maybe recapture some of their heritage by being on a farm, and they can kind of check that off their list that they visited a farm that year, or we love it multiple times a year. So I think that's one of the things. And then it has evolved. It's no longer, unfortunately, or whatever your perspective may be, it's no longer enough to just have a you pick apple orchard. Now we also entertain them. And we come up with, I think, some pretty innovative ways to entertain that they really can't find in most venues. I mean, we're part of the wonderful NAFMA organization, and it runs the gamut of what all can be discovered or explored on a particular farm. It's fascinating to see kind of the evolution of the whole industry and where this entertainment aspect is going. And it's not, I think the other crucial thing is it's seasonal. So they can't get this 365 days a year. There's a window where they can get this experience or get this food, seasonal food or apple cider
Right.
or, something like that, that still carries a little bit of magic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, you're in the prime demo and you have an off-farm wife like I do. You have an off-farm wife. So why do you think people your age are bringing little kids out to Stuckey farms and maple lawn farms?
So what's funny is we've had someone is jokingly, and I think it was supposed to be mean to us. They called us the Disney World of Westfield, and so I was like, well, I mean, that's not a terrible or a and I think what we offer, and this is what like a lot of farms need to realize that we've undersold ourselves significantly and that we are worth a lot more than what we charge admission for, and therefore that's why we get crazy fall numbers is we offer an experience that is way underpriced, and people see that and they're willing to pay for that experience. I think it's just, yeah, it's something you can't get anywhere else. And just being able to I the weird thing I think that I've seen is parents get off their phones and interact with the kids, and that's something that I have to catch myself because I'm in that demographic where my son's playing, he's already occupied, and boom, I'll be on Facebook or I'll be responding to an email or whatever. Unfortunately, the farm is not like 100% safe because it is a working farm, so you do need to keep your eyes on your kids when you're at the farm so they don't get run over by a tractor.
Yeah,
So I
just keep it
think that
dangerous is what he's saying. Just
yeah,
stay
that
dangerous, people.
that definitely keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you a little vigilant so you're not on your phone, you're engaging with your children, and it's just there's not a lot of activities where the parents can't be involved, and I think this generation, my generation, is some of the, I don't know if they're the most involved parents, but they're wanting to experience stuff with their kids. And so it is changing where you do have to cater to the adults as well as the kids. If you've got adult activities along with the kids' activities, that tends to be able to engage both the customers that are coming to your farm.
Yeah, man, I don't know that there's a better place to wrap up there than adults want to experience all of this fun stuff with their kids, and we're these kind of farms are the place to do it. But anyway, I want to say thank you. Now, if somebody's interested in the trailers, where should they go looking to see pictures of the trailers and whatnot? And can you even take any orders this year? Are you all done at 14?
We're all done. We're all done for this year. We're not taking any more orders for this year. We are open for next year, for 2027. The main way to get a hold of us is through the website, and it's AGRT Solutions with an S at the end.com. And it'll have my contact info, it'll have my dad's contact info. Or if you've got our cell phone number, feel free to reach out and we'll get you on the schedule for 2027.
We will post your cell phone
Yep.
number to the internet.
That's what I heard.
I don't think
Link
anything
in the
could go
description.
wrong. Prepare for text. That's right. Prepare for texts.
Yeah.
You're about to get
Nice.
tens of thousands of them. That's right. So AGRI
AGRT Solutions.
Solutions.
.com.
AGRT Solutions. That's right. The number 1 and 2 provider of trailers
Love it.
for all of your plumbing needs from the scenic state of Indiana. Oh my goodness. Jeff and Jordan, thanks so much for being with us here, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
And Sharon, that's just fun to learn a little bit about everybody's family business and all of the other cool stuff that you're doing. I just love that I don't know, it feels just like me, man. You came home and now you're doing something different and using your skills that you brought back from college. So good on you. And Jeff, great job not running him off, but
Yeah.
still keeping a stern eye
Yeah.
on him along the way. All right, gang, that's Positive Business Action. We'll see you in the next episode. It'll be fun too.
Thanks, guys.